Mark Tronson from the Australian Missionary News. I have here with me today Ken Clendinning. Now, Ken has been chaplain to the Canterbury Rugby League Club since 1993, and if you're an Anglican or a Catholic watching this, you would understand the term of bishop or archbishop. In the Baptist system, we don't call just our senior people that term, but that's what Ken is. Ken is like the bishop to the Baptist ministers. Now, Ken, last year you were appointed as head chaplain to the World Cup Rugby League. How did that come about?
Well, Mark, actually the Rugby League organising committee contacted me and asked whether I'd consider the position. I decided that I'd go and meet with them first of all to see what they had in mind. And the comments that they made was that more and more Christians being involved in the game. They felt that they wanted to make stronger connection to them, and they felt they wanted to ensure that they had all services for them that they might need. So they took that initiative. From then, Mark, they arranged me to meet with all the captains and the managers, talk to them about what we could do. And it went on from there. We appointed some assistant chaplains as well, ran Bible studies, prayer meetings, individual counselling and so forth for quite a few of the clubs.
And did the Fijian team bring that out their own chaplains?
In fact, the Fijian side had two pastors of their own that were on staff that came out. And in fact, the Fijian side used to have devotions or chapel twice a day.
Wonderful. Okay, now, did that experience benefit just the wider chaplaincy across Australia?
Well, I think it had a number of positive effects. One is it gave affirmation and recognition for the ministry, and particularly for those clubs that may not have been as involved in having chaplains. I think we've become far more open to it. So there was a greater acceptance, I think, across the board and with the higher levels of management within the game.
Wonderful. Now, what might be two highlights of being chaplain to the Canterbury Rugby League Club over these many years?
Well, quite a few highlights, but I guess if I had to choose a couple, certainly seeing people's lives transformed. A number of players, and not only the players, I had a lot to do with their families and also the staff, and seeing a number of them who've come to know Jesus and been transformed. Some of them who may have had some faith backgrounds, who've drifted away from the Lord and come back to faith. That's certainly been a key highlight.
Wonderful, wonderful, Ken, wonderful.
And the other one, personal one, I guess, our club's had a fair bit of upheaval at times, and 2004 was a major one, in which there were allegations against many of our players. It was a very difficult year. But during that year, the club gave me the opportunity to speak with the players and all the staff together. And on a number of occasions, we were able to turn that season around. We actually won the premiership that year, and as an expression of appreciation, the club presented me with a premiership ring.
Wonderful.
And took me to the UK with them on a World Club Challenge game. So I must say that's a highlight too.
Well, wonderful, yes, yes, yes. Now, you are also chairman of the Bulldogs Education, Counselling, Rehabilitation Committee, and a second part of this question is that what was the Clubman of the Year award like? So can you answer those two questions?
Sure, Mark. Look, yeah, for quite some years now I've headed up that subcommittee, and our responsibility is to oversee the educational programs for the players, both in terms of personal life issues, relationship, marriage issues, social issues, is what we deal with, putting educational programs in place. But beyond that, I oversee all counselling, referrals, courses that we want players or individual players to do. I take responsibility for that. Yeah, this year the club nominated me as their Clubman of the Year, and that was a great honour to have them express appreciation, I guess, for the contribution I've been making. And that took into account certainly their work on that particular subcommittee, but the general work that I've been doing for all those years. So again, for me, it was a strong affirmation of the place that chaplaincy has.
Wonderful. Now, Ken, Before you became what we might term a bishop for the Baptist ministers, you were also a lecturer at our theological college, Morling College. Now, has this experience of a feet on the ground, a ministry with the Bulldogs, has that benefited you in your wider ministry now in these senior positions?
Mark, there are two things that come to mind quickly there. The first thing is that I think any of us in leadership or ministry roles need to have our feet firmly planted in the world and at grassroots level. I think otherwise we lose touch with the very people that we want to seek to reach. So for me, working with the Bulldogs and ministry is a very, very important way in which I can engage in that. The second thing is that I think those of us in Christian leadership have to model. I believe that we can't ask others to do things that we're not prepared to do ourselves. So we're wanting our churches and people to be involved in mission, and I think we've got to be engaged in it ourselves.
Well, Ken Clendenning, this has been an inspiring and an informative discussion. This is Mark Tronson from the Australian Missionary News signing off.